Hello and welcome to Wolfman Gaming. This is my Callisto Protocol maximum security walkthrough. And this video is part 2 out of 2 of chapter 3 called Aftermath. And where we left Jacob the last time, we had just gotten into this room that looks like a slaughterhouse. Even for a maximum security prison on one of Jupiter's moons, I would say this place takes the cake. So I feel that we make well to get the hell out of there as fast as we possibly can. And in this video we will also be picking up our first weapon schematic. But something important I need to say. You saw me skipping a cutscene, or you saw the very end of a cutscene, and then I shot that little pod on the right side. That is an enemy a bit similar to a xenomorph egg in the Alien franchise. I talked about that in, I think it was the last video, that some enemies in this game, I don't really like the placement. They are more or less there to snipe you the first time you play the game. And those pods, or eggs, or whatever you want to call them, are great examples of what I mean. Because if you get too close to one of those, an enemy on a tentacle, I think it's like a head on a tentacle, will shoot out. Here is another one. And grab you. And damage you. So always be preemptive and shoot them before you get close enough for them to attack you. Because that is very unnecessary damage you will take otherwise. Or I would say all damage is unnecessary, of course. But that is damage that is easily avoided, is a more correct term, if you know that they're there. Which you won't the first time, and that's why I don't like replacement. But you saw me running past a gate where a gate fuse was missing. That is where we're gonna put in a fuse so we can pick up the weapon schematic. And that was also one of those pods. You will know that you have come across one because there are small pods littered throughout these areas, but the ones that are loaded with enemies are bigger. But I shoot down all of them as I come across them, so just if you're following this guide, you will never get clocked by one of them. And this is a great thing about the grip glove. You saw me lifting up that enemy and throwing him into the fan. There are trophies related to doing so. I think you get one for the first time you do it, and I think you get another one for doing it to like 5 enemies or something. Maybe it's 10. Don't worry about unlocking those trophies. You will have a lot of opportunities to get them throughout this game. And when you get up here, always go up here on the left, because there is a spitter over there. So we just lock onto his head and try to shoot it off his shoulders. Then we run back down because there are spiked walls here. So I'm just gonna wait for him to follow me. Here we have him. Throw him into the spikes. And don't linger up there where I climbed up, because another spitter will come out on through a hatch on the wall. You saw him right there. So never stay up there. Just shoot the one that's a bit away. Once or twice. Make him chase you. Throw him into the spikes and be ready for the next one coming. And I talked about that in the last video with the grip glove. Never hold enemies with the glove. Always make sure you know where the spikes are or any other environmental hazards you want to throw the enemies into. Always have a plan when you use the grip glove, because you will drain the battery of the glove super fast. Especially before you upgrade it. You can upgrade either the durability of the battery, how many times you can throw, or how much energy it has. before it dies. You can upgrade its recharge speed and also upgrade how far or hard, how far he throws the enemies, or the velocity of the throw. I recommend going for, I think, upgrading the how big the battery is first, focus on that, and recharge speed, because velocity, when you max out the velocity, you can more or less just kill an enemy by throwing them into the wall. And it doesn't even have to be spiked, because he will throw them with such force it will not always kill them. Basic enemies will die. Tougher enemies will at least have a severe headache and be quite soft. But I would say that recharge speed and battery capacity are more important. And here you see a really janky edit. The gate fuse is just to the right of the spike wall where I spiked that last enemy. And the reason for that janky edit is not due to any enemies. That is me suffering a brain fart while recording this. Because I couldn't find the fuse. I ran back and forth for I think like 5 minutes until I realized it was just over to my right. Which is a bit sad, but I decided to skip that out because this video is long enough as it is. And it is a walkthrough, so you don't need to see me messing about. I can just inform you about it instead. But what I've done now, if anyone's a bit uncertain, is I backtracked to where the blinking was, that there was a gate fuse missing. Because in here we'll pick up an energy converter and also the schematics for the Skunk Gun. And as I mentioned, of course, my inventory is full, so I have to drop something. And I decided to drop these 4 bullets. Like so, and pick up the schematic. Whenever you get to a store with this, it will upload automatically and you can unlock the Skunk Gun from there. I would advise that you don't. I show it because I like to be thorough. If you want to use it, that's entirely up to you. You will get a shotgun as part of the story later on. And make sure to bring the fuse with you, by the way. And as I said, yes, you will get a shotgun as part of the story. You will not, I would say you will not need a shotgun before you get that one. The stun baton, the grip glove, and the hand cannon will be sufficient. But it's up to you, but I would advise that you don't, because the more enemies, the more weapons you have, the more different ammo types you will get. Because I think, I'm not gonna swear to this because I have played through this game like 3 or 4 times and I have never unlocked the optional weapons that you get via the schematics. But I think I read online that every weapon has its own ammunition. So if you have, the more weapons you have, the more different types of ammos you will have. And since inventory space is a big factor, make no mistake, if you have gotten this far following this walkthrough, you will know what I mean. So I like to stay with just the basic things, and it also suits how I do my walkthroughs. Usually I wouldn't even do any upgrades for either Jacob, or any of his equipment, but in this is an exception to that rule. And here you see the schematics upload, and if you want to, you can buy it, and as I said, I advise you don't. I would also recommend that you sell the health injector, because we will get to a room called the shoe, which is probably the reason why some of you people have sought out this walkthrough, because when I played this game the first time, the shoe was my first great hurdle to get past. By the way, when this door opens, 2 spitters will be inside. And just pick them up with the grip glove and drop their asses. Super easy. You can shoot their heads off. Try to use the distance to your advantage and shoot their heads off, but if they start spitting, this gondola is not a very big area, so you will run great risk of being hit. And in this room as well, I would say actually sell any ammo and any health you have in your inventory going in here, because I will play this quite sloppily. I will take damage in this room. The only reason I take damage is because I got greedy. If you don't get greedy, you will not take a single hit. Because the shoe can feel very intimidating the first time you go in here. This is a room filled with environmental hazards. There are rollers, there are cogwheels, there is shit that can fuck you up if you don't know what you're doing. But with my strategy, if you don't mess up like me, you will get through this easy peasy. First thing you do is take out these 2 gate fuses. And as I said, there are 3 medkits in here. So if you want to take one now and like beef up a bit, feel free to do so. But when you get up here, make sure to put in the fuse on the right first. Because when we put in the second fuse, things are gonna start kicking off, and we want to go down on the left side. So I want to make as short a path as possible, because you want to get over here. Be careful of that roller to the right, because you can actually die by backing into it. So be careful, know your surroundings. And in this room, all you need to do is heavy swings. When you do heavy swings, you knock enemies off their feet. There I took 1 hit. That was me being stupid because I got greedy. And you will have... chances are you will smack them into these environmental things. That was the first wave. The second wave will be a spitter coming out of that hatch. So we just lift him up and throw him into the spinner. And a brute that will come down from over there. Pick him up, throw him into a spinner. It wasn't cooperating with me. Sometimes the hitbox on these spinning things can be janky. Hopefully it won't happen to you. And I think it's like 4 or 5 waves of enemies. Usually there are only 2 enemies per wave. There I took another hit. And you see, I've taken 2 swings and I'm down, my health is down on red. That is maximum security difficulty for you people. Enemies will go through your health bar fast if you do stupid mistakes. So don't do what I did. Treat this like any old fight. Let them swing, dodge every swing as soon as you're sure that their combo is complete. Do a heavy swing and try to smack them into one of the spinning things, and there is an abundance of them. If there's one thing this room isn't lacking, it's environmental hazards. And in between each wave, I know I said that there are 2 enemies per wave. It seems like that wave was free. You will have a few seconds of downtime. So if you need to heal up, in case you've gotten unlucky and taking a hit like I did, you will have time to do so in between waves. And also another thing to know with these spinning things, sometimes you can get lucky and the enemy accidentally bumps into them and dies. And also, I think these are shielded on the other side, 2 spinners in the middle. But with the grip glove, when you pick up an enemy and Jacob starts dragging them towards him, if you have one of those spinning things in between you, the enemy will go into it. So you can use that as well, so you don't have to launch them into it. With some careful placement, you can just drag them towards you and kill them that way. And as soon as the last enemy is dead, everything will start winding down and you have just survived the shoot. And it is very intimidating. As I said, when I played this the first time, I really struggled in this room. And that was because I approached it wrong. Also, when you open this door, here is a brute without any legs. I like to soften him up with some bullets. And with these amputated enemies, they work just like any other enemy. Just dodge their swings, hold to the side. Doesn't matter that they're ground bound, so to speak. And of course, before we leave this room, make sure to stomp all the corpses that remain. Always stomp the corpses. I know I've said that before, but it's worth saying again. Because enemies will always drop loot, even on maximum security difficulty, which I think is very kind of them. Because that is also a difference in between Callisto Protocol and Dead Space, that not all enemies drop stuff in Dead Space. And also, this game has fixed spawns and Dead Space doesn't. And I was thinking about, because I bought the Dead Space remake, and I was thinking about trying to get the Platinum Trophy in it. And right now, I am just missing one, and that is beating the game on... what's it called, like impossible difficulty. And here I just sold one medkit. I would say sell the bullets as well. And I've been thinking about, I'm not sure, maybe I will try to get the platinum. I'm not a big fan of the fact that they put in a difficulty with permadeath. Because on impossible difficulty, you have just one save file. You can save as many times as you want, but you will always overwrite the same save file. And if you die, you will still be able to play the game, but it will change the difficulty to hard. And from what I can gather, impossible is the same as hard, but with the only difference that you just have one save file. But I think Dead Space is quite a challenging game, even on normal. I would say it's significantly harder than this game. Much to do with the fact that it has, as I said, random enemy spawns. So I'm not quite sure if I'm gonna take it on or not. And with that spitter over there, I don't know if I've said this before, I may have, maybe not. When you shoot a spitter, when you try to shoot off their head, make sure you shoot off the entire head. Because with this Ugo, I shot off half of it, and then it charged at me. But as long as there is a piece of head left, he will still be able to spit, so make sure to shoot off all of it. And can we just take a second to watch the flames of this burning enemy? I must say that Callisto Protocol is definitely one of the best looking games on the PlayStation 5 that I've played, at least. But either way, now we're on a new objective to try to reach the tram station. And this enemy right here, I talked about the float like a butterfly trophy for getting 5 perfect dodges. This enemy is actually the one I grinded to get it. And I think I grinded him for 15 minutes before I was able to get 5 perfect dodges. And I would love to help you on how to get it. The thing is, I really don't know. I know you have to like flick the stick, you can't just hold it, but you have to flick it at the right moment, which I think is... either just before you get hit or just as the enemy has started his swing. I remember it was wonky as fuck getting it. I'm just happy they didn't have to make you... By the way, here's another pod. That they didn't make you do 5 consecutive perfect dodges, because then I think no one would be able to unlock it. And I don't know what the point of it is. As I've said, I've only managed to do it 5 times. I think if you do it, you might get like another second to do another swing at the enemy. By the way, be careful going in here because there are some slugs. There will be, I think, 4 slugs coming out of that hatch. That's 2, 3. Maybe it's just 3. And by the way, shoot that pod that is just behind the hatch, because another slug will pop out of that one. And there is a big pod down there. There. So learn from my mistake. Make sure to shoot that pod. And usually enemies don't pop out of those small ones. It's just the large ones with the tentacle freaks inside them. But either way, the perfect dodges, if you're going for them, I wish you the absolute best of luck. I would say that is the absolute hardest trophy you can unlock in this game. And I think it's odd that they also have a mechanic in that they never mention. You get no indication that it is a thing you can do unless you read the trophy list or get really lucky and do one by accident. But I think in order to be able to do it, you can't have assisted dodging turned on. Because when you have that on, Jacob will automatically dodge at the very first second he can, or something like that. I think I read about that. But I'm not entirely sure, because I think that I managed to pull one off during... As I said, I recorded the first 3 chapters of this game, and then I restarted my recording. Started over from the beginning. And I think I actually managed to pull one off. But I'm not gonna swear to it. Either way, it's not a part of this walkthrough, so I'm not gonna dwell on it. And after this stud muffin, we will have a second encounter with a security robot. And I mentioned in the video for chapter 2 that there is a trophy for killing one of those security robots. You can take this one on if you want to. They do drop a printer or something that you can sell for quite a bit of money. I would recommend that you just sneak past this one. With enemy assistance, aiming assistance is what I meant, enabled, it will be easier because you have to shoot him a few times in the head for him to break down. But there will be an instance in, I think it's chapter 4, where you will get an opportunity to take down a robot and you can soften him up with explosives. And either way, there is a checkpoint right here, so if you want to go for it now, I would just do it. Wait until he turns around. No, you can't do that. You have to shoot him from the front, I think. Either way, make sure you have your aim locked at his head. And if you want to sneak past him, this is really easy because he's not very aware of his surroundings. Just make sure you don't run until you get over to around here. Then you can start legging it. An armored guy will come out of that hatch. Just ignore him, vault over that thing and crawl into this vent and you're safe. And now, before we get out of this part, Elias tells you about a trap. And that trap must be designed by Jigsaw from the Saw movies. And you will know exactly what I mean when you see it. This is quite a fun thing to get past, I think. But it is a one-hit kill if you get clocked by it. There are no buts about it, just so you're aware of this. There are 2 rotating chainsaw wheels. You see? You see that red edge in the floor? That's as far as it will move up. If you stay behind that line, you are completely safe. It will never move further up than that. But it is quite easy to get past. But there are enemies coming out on the left side from those hatches in these little alcoves. So be aware of this. So I like to, when it's heading back, run out, pick him up, throw him in, watch him somehow just negate his entire hitbox and float through it. That is one of those things. When that happened during this recording, I thought to myself, this always happens when I record stuff. That is the kind of thing that would never happen while I was just playing this game, I promise you that. Weird shit happens when I plug in my game capture card. And now we have just 1 enemy left. So we're gonna activate that and run as soon as it passes. He will come out. I like to just pick him up with the grip glove and let the chainsaw... It's not really a chainsaw. Meat grinder? Let the meat grinder do the work. Then we activate it one last time. Skip trying to stomp the corpses. Just head into this vent because it will be going back. So that was fun. Wasn't it? Very interesting piece of technology. And you realize what I mean, that it must be designed by Jigsaw. Because it looks most definitely like something out of the Saw movies. And of course, loot through these lockers so you can pick up some nice credits and some ammo. And all that remains now is to open this hatch, and we are done with chapter 3 and can head into chapter 4. So I want to thank you very much for watching, and I will see you again in my next video. So until next time, this is the Wolfman signing off.